Each week on Culinary Confidential, Christina Cates, a seasoned foodie who has worked at some of New York City's top restaurants, will share her passion for the culinary world. Whether you're a professional chef, a restaurant enthusiast, or a lover of good food, Christina dives into the heart of hospitality, exploring the trends, triumphs, and challenges facing the food service profession. And you won't want to miss her chats with some of the most interesting and influential industry voices. And now, please take your seat at the table as Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates starts now, exclusively on AM 970. The Answer.
Welcome to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates. This show is produced in association with my incredible friend, Lucas A. Ferrara. The topic for the show tonight is truffle mania. Okay, so what is a truffle? Because we're not talking about chocolate truffles here. The truffles I'm talking about are a strong-smelling underground fungus that resembles an irregular, maybe rough-skinned potato, growing chiefly in broad-leaved woodland calcareous soils. It is considered a culinary delicacy and found especially in France with the aid of trained dogs or pigs. Truffles are one of those special luxury ingredients that when you see it on the menu at a restaurant, there's usually an upcharge for it, kind of like caviar. Truffles have a very distinct flavor and usually a little bit goes a long way. But I love the flavor that truffles add to a dish. I can even remember the very first time I had truffles. It was at Budokan in New York when it first opened, and they had these edamame soup dumplings on the menu. And I think I went back 5 times to have them. I was hooked. That flavor profile is just something I really enjoy. Truffles have a rich, earthy, and aromatic flavor profile that's often described as luxurious and complex. They add an umami burst and depth to dishes, enhancing everything from pasta, pizza, and risotto to eggs and meat. There are over 140 species of truffles. There are black truffles, white truffles, summer truffles, burgundy truffles. The list just goes on and on. Each species of truffle, though, has its own flavor characteristic. For example, like black truffles are earthy and musky. They're a little nutty with chocolate-like undertones, but they're also slightly savory with hints of garlic. They offer subtle yet warm, balanced flavor. Then white truffles, they're more pungent and have an intense aroma. They're peppery, garlicky, and have slightly cheesy notes. They're a bit more delicate, yet have a sharp flavor compared to the black truffles. White truffles, they're often described as having a hint of fermented or even aged quality. Now, summer truffles are mild and nutty and have a gentle mushroom-like flavor with hints of hazelnut. Burgundy truffles have a stronger and deeper aroma than summer truffles. They are rich with earthy, hazelnut, and chocolate notes. But you don't need me to talk about truffles anymore when I have a truffle expert on the show tonight. Joining the show tonight is Jimmy Kunz, also known as Jimmy Truffles, but more formally known as the Truffleist. He was fortunate enough to have a medley of culinary experiences at a young age. He grew up in New York City. He earned an appreciation of delicious, craveable dishes made up on the pristine classics and humble, culturally diverse cuisines his hometown had to offer. Jimmy Truffles began making truffle butter as a holiday gift for friends and family before he was inspired to take his passion to the next level by officially becoming the Truffleist. Like a modern-day version of the streetcar vendors who walked to young New York City, Jimmy started hand-delivering the product to his early customers, personally navigating the city streets by Vespa. Since launching the company with that flagship truffle butter in 2013, the Truffleist now offers a growing selection of distinct truffle products and hosts a wildly successful seasonal market, Cheesesteaks by the Truffleist. The Truffleist products are available at pop-up markets, specialty shops online, and up and down the East Coast on the shelves of Whole Foods. The Truffleist is featured in dishes of some of New York's most visionary and celebrated chefs. Later in the hour, Jimmy invited on the show Jason Hairston, owner of the Nugget Spot. Truffles and nuggies are doing a fun collab, so we're going to talk about that later with Jason. Let me please welcome to the show the Truffleist, Jimmy Kunz. Welcome to Culinary Confidential. Welcome to the show, Jimmy Kunz.
Jimmy Truffles.
Well, I already mentioned you as Jimmy Truffles, and then I said formerly known as the Truffleist, because the Truffleist is kind of a person and a place, right?
Yes, I go by Jimmy Truffles in Brooklyn.
Okay, that's your street name?
That's the street name. And then when I'm in Manhattan, they call me Jimmy Good Deals.
Ooh, Jimmy Good Deals. Tell me more about that.
That's just the alter Manhattan tidied up version of myself.
Tell me how you got into the truffle biz. Let's just get right to it.
Absolutely. It's been a fun, long journey, starting with just obviously the love of food and a little farming knowledge, a little kitchen knowledge, and then really salami sales is how it all started. So I worked for a small brand for 2 years, did a lot of sales and demos.
How long ago was this?
This was 13 years ago.
Wow.
Small brand by the name of Charlito's Cocina.
Okay.
Still around, great guy, Charlito, a.k.a. Charles, and he had a truffle salami. That was the best seller. And
that
then,
piqued your interest.
Slightly, even though I preferred, I think, his beer salami, which is super delicious, which he calls the cerveza seca. Anyway, my uncle and I were like, let's buy some truffles and make truffle butter.
Okay, but where are you buying truffles from? Because I've never seen them like in a store.
Right. So the context of that story is my dad was a well-known chef.
Okay.
Big foodie family. Uncle Steven is like, hey, how you doing, Brooklyn guy? My dad's best friend, not my blood uncle. So the context was,
we all have those uncles.
Let's figure out how to make this truffle salami cheaper and make truffle salt. So as a good employee at the time, or a decent one, I was like, oh, I got a guy. Let's get some truffles and try to bring your costs down on this truffle salami. Perfect. In the meantime, let's buy a pound of truffles and make truffle butter at home, because why not?
Yeah.
So that was kind of the inception of the whole brand of making this truffle butter for friends and family, just for fun to cook with. Kudos to Dad for being a well-known chef.
Can we talk about him a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing to hide. So he obviously had his truffle dealers, being a celebrity chef, and so we got a pound of truffles. But yeah, Dad, Grey Kunz, he had L'Espinasse, then Cafe Grey, and Grey's, and then took his career full circle back to Asia before he passed in COVID times. But yeah, so that was like the humble beginning of Truffleist. Uncle Steven, now turned vegan. This is someone who I used to butter marinate steaks with.
Wow.
And then throw them on a Weber grill on his Brooklyn stoop. He helped me start the brand. So he was like, why are you selling this salami? Sell some truffle butter. And we had no business plan, no budget, no money. And that's
how usually these successful businesses and concepts start. When you're grinding it out in the early stages. No money, no nothing. Just sweat equity and spirit.
Yes, but not ideal.
It's okay.
And I think in today's time, almost impossible, just because of the changing times, to do it the way I think Jason and I did it, because it just costs so much more now to do anything, right?
Cost of goods is rising.
Right. So he was like, here's a clipboard, here's some invoices. It started with our flagship truffle butter, which is a cool recipe. You can make it at home. Very, very simple. So we're going to share this crazy recipe. It's not a secret.
Okay.
It's 1 pound of truffles to 5 pounds of butter, a little bit of sea salt. Wow. Of course, you can go divide by 4, divide by 8, so you don't need to buy a full pound of truffles. But that was it. Clipboard, invoices, my Vespa, door to door. This was, I think, at the boom of a lot of mom and pop specialty shops.
Yep.
And then we were doing Smorgasburg and, of course, holiday markets. But that is really the start of Truffleist, was just really out of the love of food and truffles, and preserving truffles is difficult.
Yeah.
Truffle butter is still my favorite truffle item that we sell. I was
going to ask you what your favorite item was. If you had a favorite.
We still sell this one just seasonally at our holiday pop-ups. We only make between 8 to 1,200 jars of it. We don't wholesale it, but it is a special product. My one-liner is it's the next best thing to table-side shaving.
Wow.
And I call it the truth anyway. I still love it. I still eat it.
Wait, when you were at Smorgasburg, did you know Dan and John from the Wings?
Absolutely.
So I used to work with Dan.
Oh, cool.
When I was the GM at the Palm in Tribeca, Dan was a server, and he was a great server. I mean, he's very charismatic. He had this idea of doing the wing thing, right? Dan and John's Wings, which is now like a pretty successful wing shop in New York with several locations. He was doing that on the weekends, and he'd always be like, I can only work Monday to Friday, which was like the best days to work at the Palm, because it's when all the suit daddies would come in and spend all the money. He'd be like, I can only work Monday to Friday. I got to do this wing thing on the weekends. And now he's like so successful. And I love that for him.
I do too.
And he's a really good person.
I love the Smorgasburg success stories. Mm-hmm. There's quite a few. Like Pipcorn's another example, one in the packaged goods space. Dan and John's, I mean, I'm so happy for them. I think they have
like
a couple,
4 or 5,
four or something.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that was a really, or still is, a cool market. I don't really know. I don't go there that much anymore, but some good success stories out of there.
It gave a lot of brands and people just great exposure.
Totally. We ended up doing cheesesteaks there, which is our
That's your thing now, though, right?
Sister brand that we still do, too.
Let's talk about that. The Truffleist, the cheesesteaks by the Truffleist.
Totally. That's our sister brand. It's basically a deconstructed cheesesteak and reconstructed in a bougie way.
Yeah.
So we get fresh steak from a butcher. Bread comes in daily.
All right, we got to take it back.
Yeah.
What kind of steak are you using? We need the details on the culinary show. Where are you getting the bread from? What kind of steak are you using? What's the cheese? Are we using Cheese Whiz? What kind of truffles are we shaving?
Absolutely.
Don't skimp on the details, please.
Let's go into detail on the cheesesteak recipe. The inception of it was dinner parties. Because when I first started, I wasn't going out. I was working obviously like crazy, still am. And I would just have dinner parties. And I've always loved cheesesteaks, and tough to get a good one. Even a bad one's good, but difficult to
like pizza.
Find a really good one. So I made cheesesteaks at a dinner party, and then people were like, where's the truffle honey, or where's the truffle oil? And that's kind of how it started on the back end in terms of the inspiration. The recipe hasn't changed really at all since we started. It's always been inside top round, which is sliced and diced, so it's not your paper thin. And this has to do with the execution on site at these pop-ups that we still do at Bryant Park Winter Village. So if you guys want to check it out
Next
this year, holiday season, Bryant Park, you can find cheesesteaks by the Truffleist. But inside top round, Romeo Brothers, sliced and diced. Caputo, it's a rustic roll. So Caputo Bakery's on Court Street in Carroll Gardens, which is the neighborhood I grew up in. Great mom and pop bakery. Comes in fresh every day. It's basically a hybrid roll. So your Italian soft hero and a French baguette had a baby.
I love it.
So you got enough crunch, you got enough texture, you got enough depth and structure to hold the massive sandwich that it is, which weighs about a pound after it's all said and done. Caramelized onions, diced up peppers. We use a grande cheese blend, which is Mutt's provolone blend in there. And,
sexy.
And then bechamel, which is a homemade bechamel cheese sauce on top. So it's kind of off the bat double the cheese than you would normally get, right? Because you pick cheese or with whiz, without, whatever. And then we do the fun truffle twist. So that recipe is what we call our New York cheesesteak. And essentially that's the base of all the sandwich. All the cheesesteaks. Then we have the truffle one. We have the goat cheese truffle honey one. We have a burrata one. And then we do a crazy over-the-top truffleist one, which includes additionally melted raclette, torched mousse de foie gras, shaved truffles, and alpine flowers. So we only do 20 of those a day as a kind of a specialty item. But yeah, it's been successful. The whole point of Cheesesteaks by the Truffleist is obviously to have fun in the kitchen, but really to expose people to the brand of Truffleist and how you can. It doesn't need to be this, risotto with shaved truffles at a fancy restaurant. You can have fun with it on a classic American sandwich,
right.
Or let's drizzle some truffle honey over chicken and waffles. And so that continues to be the point of it. It's been fun doing cheesesteaks for now 10 years. And it's a big part of our brand.
Well, let's talk more about the Truffleist, this line of products that you have. Your store is based out of Long Island City?
So our warehouse and production and office is all out of Long Island City, Queens, yes.
But then you do these pop-ups throughout the holiday season where people can buy your products. They can buy them online at truffleist.com.
Correct.
All right, so we're doing what? Truffle butter, truffle honey. Is there like a truffle hot sauce or something spicy?
There is a truffle hot sauce, which is yummy and carrot-based.
Carrot bait. Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. Okay.
That's super delish. Great on a breakfast burrito.
I
or
bet.
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Mm-hmm. Speaking
or for you, a Taylor
ham, egg, and cheese. That's
Is
right.
it pork roll or Taylor ham?
How about you get out of the studio right now?
There we go.
Pork roll.
Now we're talking.
North Jersey, it's Taylor ham. We're gonna have Jason on in a couple of minutes, and I want to know if he calls it Taylor ham or pork roll. He's a North Jersey guy, so I would assume he's gonna come correct, but we'll see.
I like a sausage, egg, and cheese just to throw more fuel on the fire with this conversation.
Listen.
I'm a big breakfast sandwich aficionado.
Are you?
Favorite one right now? Frankel's Greenpoint pastrami, egg, and cheese. Really good.
That does sound delightful.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the next venture for you. Forget the cheesesteaks. Breakfast sandwiches by the Truffleist.
There's already a next venture, but we'll get into
All
that.
right, well,
I want to get to Jason from the Nugget
Okay.
Spot soon, but we'll elaborate on the items that we sell, which vary from truffle salami, truffle butter, truffle oil, truffle mustard. The list goes on.
Nice.
Holiday markets are a big part of the DNA of the company. We love doing them.
It's a lot of work, though, I'm sure. to do these
Crazy.
pop-ups.
Crazy.
I mean, the gnocchi guys, I just had them on the show. They were also going into some detail that the holiday markets they're intense, but they're very profitable. So
depending on your concept, I would say
different profit margins between truffles and boxes of gnocchi.
or steak and pasta.
Yeah.
But God bless all the vendors who pull it off, because it's a huge capital up front. It's definitely a grind to pull it off in terms of finding great seasonal staff. There's a lot of operational things, which I'm sure the awesome Gnocchi on 9 brothers told you about. We got to be humbled with what we've achieved last season with 10 locations.
Wow.
We started with a half booth at Columbus Circle back in 2014, and we've always added. So last season we've had 6 retail and then 4 food booth locations. I'm starting to call them stores instead of booths.
Yeah, that sounds nicer.
Really, that's what they are. I was just really proud of the whole team and the great seasonal help we had, and to be able to pull that off and to just be reminded that, hey, like, it was you every day at Columbus Circle.
That's
what was it, 11
really nice
seasons
to hear.
ago, and everything's fine. And we pulled it off, and we were happy to do it. And it's just amazing to see that real-time interactions of, like, oh, if you're launching a new product or you're doing a new menu item at Cheesesteaks, or what's going to work, what's not. And I love branding. I love interior design, so I always have fun building the booths out. But
you're hands-on.
It's 2/3 of our business, so we really do rely on that to carry us through as our wholesale business grows year over year. And I love it. What's better than New York City,
During the
holiday
holidays?
time,
Nothing.
tourist, prime time location,
And truffles.
forget the winter blues, come to the holiday markets, shop small, a lot of cool vendors there, and
Okay, great. We're going to go to commercial break. Jimmy, don't go anywhere.
I'm running.
Nope. You're staying. And
Pork roll.
When you get back, we're bringing Jason on from the Nugget Spot. Stay tuned. You're listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970 The Answer.
I love bringing you products that improve your life. Well, this product can save a life. There are 5,000 choking deaths in the U.S. annually. One child dies every 5 days from choking. Older adults are also at increased risk of choking. Foods eaten by the handful like popcorn, grapes, peanuts, they get overloaded in the mouth, cause a choking episode. LifeVac is a simple rescue device that can change a life in a choking emergency. It's non-invasive and easy to use. If you have a young child or a senior relative, I strongly recommend you visit the LifeVac website today at lifevac.net. View the videos demonstrating its ease of use. LifeVac works in 3 simple steps. Place, push, pull. The LifeVac device dislodges the obstruction and suctions out the food or object. It's that simple, and it can be self-administered. Lifevac.net.
Hi, Mike Gallagher here, hoping you'll join me on the Patriots Alaska cruise this summer, a once-in-a-lifetime trip where patriotism and luxury meet. Picture this, you cruising through Alaska's stunning wilderness on a first-class luxury ship surrounded by breathtaking glaciers and majestic mountains. Joining us will be Larry Elder, Jennifer Horn, Joe Piscopo, but that's just the beginning. We sail August 16th through the 23rd through the last frontier. On board, you'll enjoy thought-provoking talks, exclusive events, and unforgettable memories with fellow patriots who share your conservative values. Text the keyword travel to 94878 to reserve your stateroom today. Text travel to 94878. This is more than just a cruise. It's a chance to engage with some of the most respected voices in conservative America. I'll take a little credit for that. I hope I'm in that category, and explore one of the most beautiful places on planet Earth. Space is limited. Text travel to 94878. That's travel to 94878. I'll see you on board, where patriotism, adventure, and luxury all come together.
A large retail store just canceled a huge order, leaving MyPillow with a ton of extra MyPillows. That's their loss and your gain. For the first time, you'll get a standard classic MyPillow for wholesale prices, only $14.88. Even better, for a limited time, they're going to offer their entire classic collection at wholesale prices. Queen size MyPillows for just $18.88. Upgrade to king size for only $1 more. Body pillows for $29.88. And multi-use MyPillows for only $9.88. Go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code Joe P, or call 800-651-0798. Take advantage of wholesale pricing and receive free shipping on orders over $75. There are limited quantities at this price, so the limit is going to be 10, and once they're gone, they are gone. Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-651-0798. Use the promo code Joe P to get the standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation. Representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants, Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to NewmanFerrara.com. That's NewmanFerrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate, on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Welcome back to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970. The Answer.
Okay, we're back. I'm back on the show with Jimmy Kunz, also known as the Truffleist. The Truffleist creates artfully handcrafted truffle products at their headquarters in Long Island City, Queens. Now on the show, Jimmy, what do you say? Should we bring in Jason?
We have to.
Jason Hairston?
Jasonian.
Should we talk about Jason before we bring him on?
The king of nuggets.
He's the visionary behind the Nugget Spot. The Nugget Spot, it was the first nugget-focused restaurant. It opened in 2013 on East 14th Street in New York City. It's now in Chatham, New Jersey, which is a town that I love. It's a very high-end town, sexy town. And the Nugget Spot's known for its hormone and antibiotic-free nuggets with unique coatings and mouth-watering dipping sauces. What's your favorite sauce?
Well, of course, the truffle mayo.
Duh. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But Jason's concept brings a fun twist to classic comfort food. Before opening the Nugget Spot, he honed his skills at renowned establishments like Bobby Flay's Mesa Grill, New York City's Tribeca Grand Hotel, which I used to spend a ton of time at, and Aqua Grill. Jason's rich background includes a double major in international affairs and Spanish, with time spent abroad in Spain, adding depth to his culinary expertise. His journey from working in his family business to becoming a culinary innovator is inspiring for those following their dreams. Jason, welcome to the show.
What's going on? How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for coming on Culinary Confidential with your good friend Jimmy over here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, what's this collab you guys have going on? Because truffles and nuggies, it's like...
It's a match made in heaven.
It's a match made in heaven.
Who'd have thunk it?
The collab is amazing, but Jason needs to explain a little bit about why his nuggets are so incredible.
Well, first of all, you're ahead of your time.
I'd like to think so.
Because
everybody's getting on the bandwagon now.
Right, like Cocodoc is making a whole thing out of a chicken nugget focused experience.
Right.
You've been doing this for 12 years.
Yep.
So again, ahead of your time. So let's talk.
We started doing this in 2013.
Okay.
And now I feel like, a lot of people have been getting on the bandwagon with like the boneless chicken thing. Even KFC's trying to get into it too.
Right. So you've always been a boneless nugget.
Always.
The chicken nugget. That's your thing.
And, started in 2013 trying to elevate the chicken nugget from because at that time, like the pink slime was in the news a lot, what the McNuggets were made out of,
Yeah.
And just trying to elevate it from the frozen dinosaur shape, highly processed food.
Where are you getting your chicken from?
Driscoll Foods right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you going to give us any secrets to your success, your recipe? Like, what are we coating things in?
We're grinding them in-house. They're hand-tossed, and we're making all the coatings in-house, so they're made fresh. They're not sitting in a heat lamp when
Are they made to order?
Pretty much. We're making them throughout the day, so you're always getting fresh nuggets.
And then what are you frying them in? What kind of oil?
It's a canola blend.
A canola blend, because that is, honestly, it's the best. Even when I make, like, cutlets at home, people do olive oil, but canola oil it makes it crispier.
Yeah. It's what I found to work the best, especially for the amount of frying that we do. Mm-hmm. So.
Hi, Jimmy. Jimmy's raising his hand.
May I?
Please.
Jason's being modest. We're talking straight fuego nuggets.
Okay.
By brined Captain Crunch crusted nuggets. Yeah. They're fried. They're refried to order. He's taken his high-end chefing skills to the nuggets, giving the nugget the respect it deserves. And I think that
he's a good hype man for you.
I'm loving this.
I think you taste the difference. Everyone's roasted a chicken at home.
Yep.
Maybe not everyone has brined a chicken and then roasted it. That's two different crazy experiences, and that's a huge process in the step of making the nuggets. So
it makes them juicy. They stay juicy throughout the process.
I got to give it up to Jason for not cutting corners. I think you see a lot of that in fast casual.
Right.
Jason has stuck to that same great recipe that worked at 14th Street, and he's in Chatham, New Jersey. Got to check him out. Ugh, they're just so good. And I don't want to bring it back to me, but we've stuck to our guns with cheesesteaks. We don't need to get fresh steak, for example. We don't need to make this bechamel sauce or use really expensive cheese or fresh bread daily, but we're building a brand here, and that's exactly what Jason is doing. So if they have a great bite at cheesesteaks, they might buy a jar of honey. Or they have a great nugget, they might tell their friend will come, they will want to buy a sweater, they're going to come back. So I think you see that a lot, specifically in quick service, fast casual, and at holiday markets, there is a difference. And I don't want to speak for the Nugget Master himself. There is obviously a huge sense of pride in what we serve.
Yeah. And
we just hope that the end product is great and the people have a great experience, but that they taste it and they want to come back. Right. And I think Jason is achieving that really, really, really well. And
so, Jason, you left the city after COVID. Are you looking to get back into the city, or do you want to expand more on the Jersey side?
I think, to be honest with you, it makes more sense from a business standpoint to expand in the Jersey side.
I have a spot for you. Honestly, I tried to get the Gnocchi on 9th guys in, but they're just like, we want to stay in New York. Like, we're not ready to go to Jersey. But I have a great spot for you.
I'm open
in
to
Rutherford, New Jersey.
Okay.
We're going to talk after.
I can't wait, because I really feel like, you need the volume. You need to have multiple units, and convenience is key in doing that. So
now, are you hands-on, though, in the store? Like, you're still there every day?
Well, I just reopened this one, so yeah. I've been there quite a bit. But we're starting to hit our stride, and I could step away from it a bit.
Amazing. And let's talk about the collab, though, the Truffle Nugget collab.
It's one of my favorites.
Better be.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Kunz sitting next to you.
I mean,
boom.
Boom. Let's talk about it.
So we have basically a truffle menu.
Okay. A whole menu.
It's like truffle nuggets, truffle fries, truffle chicken sandwich, which was recently told was the best chicken sandwich anybody's ever had.
Really?
Came back and
who told you that?
It was a customer.
Wow.
He didn't want to pay the premium for it. Bought it, left, ate it, and came back right after. He's like, I didn't want to spend the money, but that was the best chicken.
And you brought none in the
had.
studio tonight. How dare you?
Well, it wouldn't have traveled.
It wouldn't
that
have traveled
well.
Okay, I'll come to Chatham.
I'll hook you up.
Thank you.
Try everything.
Of course, working with a celebrity chef like Jason is an honor and is a very good example of what a lot of chefs should be doing with truffle products. I think the menu items are really balanced, and this is not our first go at it. So we did this a few times over at 14th Street, and it's just an honor to collab with him.
Yeah,
Jason and I.
Clearly, it was successful, which is why you continue to do it.
Absolutely. Truffle items sell. It's a balance, obviously, of flavor to not be over truffled. But,
right, because it is a strong flavor.
It's nice when you're collabing with a friend or a client. Obviously, Jason and I are really close friends. So this is like obviously personal and fun. So that's just the cherry on top. I think my favorite one, the truffle mac and cheese bites we're doing.
Oh, yeah that sounds great.
But
absolutely,
you can't really beat the nuggets. But this go around, I think the mac bites are really good. And it's just been fun. These type of partnerships keeps things interesting. Jason's done a great job to market the collab, and our team.
Truffle products in the store too. So when people come in, you get.
That's good for Jimmy. You have your products in the nugget shop on the shelves.
It's an honor.
Yeah. You're behind the line and on the shelf. Wow. Double dipping a little bit, I think. Listen, so 2025, one of the global food trends is things with unusual toppings.
Okay.
And there was a picture of a nugget with like a dollop of caviar on it, which like we've talked about, Cocoa Doc does that. But truffles and nuggies is very on brand for that. So I don't know whether you knew that or not. You're very trendy this year.
Wow. Ahead of our time again.
Ahead of your time again. Visionaries.
Well, that makes sense. Jason's better looking, dresses better, so he's always ahead of the trend. I'm just trying to catch up to him.
You guys have a real friendship.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Before truffles and nuggies. How do you know each other?
So this...
Wait, you know what? hold on 1 second. We're going to go to one last commercial break. When we get back, I feel like there's a story behind this. We're going to need some time to dive into it. So we'll talk about how the friendship journey started. Stay tuned. You're listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970. The Answer.
Hello, this is John Leventhal. I am a partner in the law firm of Idala, Bertuna & Kamens. I have been a lawyer for 43 years, including 13 years as a trial judge and 13 years as an appellate judge. I have presided over almost every kind of civil and criminal case, and I have seen litigants facing almost every legal problem you can imagine. What is the most important thing for a litigant to do? It is to obtain the right lawyer, someone with the ability to navigate you through the court system and achieve the best possible outcome. At Idala, Bertuna & Kamens, that is what we offer. When I was on the bench, Idala, Bertuna & Kamens earned the reputation of being the boutique law firm that fights passionately for their clients in the most professional manner in both civil and criminal cases. I am proud to be a member of the Idala, Bertuna & Kamens law firm, where our lawyers will give you the powerful representation you all deserve.
Hey, Carl Jackson here for Dennis Prager. While Dennis Prager is recuperating, we know you miss your daily dose of Dennis. That's why Pragertopia is giving you a special gift. Right now, Pragertopia members can hear the best 2 hours of Dennis's favorite segments from as far back as 2010. On Monday, you can hear the Happiness Hour.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what I'm about.
Tuesday is Celebrity Guest Day.
Donald Trump Jr. is in studio with me.
On Wednesday, it's the Male-Female Hour.
I really do wish there were a way to ascertain the number of marriages that this hour has helped.
Thursday, the Ultimate Issues Hour.
Not having ultimate issues clarity is like having a map, but you don't know where you're going.
And Friday is Open Lines.
Feel free to ask me anything about me, about you, about life.
So if you're missing your daily dose of Dennis, go to Pragertopia.com and hear all your favorite segments along with lectures, celebrity interviews, and his famous Torah teachings and more. Get your daily dose of Dennis at Pragertopia.com, Pragertopia.com.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to NewmanFerrara.com. That's NewmanFerrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
This is Dennis Prager. If you share my passion for free speech and rational thinking, become a member of the ultimate online community for all things Prager. It's Pragertopia Plus, and it's less than a cup of coffee a month. Listen or watch every show, all commercial-free. Share your favorite segments with your friends. Now listen commercial-free to my friends Mike Gallagher, Seb Gorka, and Hugh Hewitt as well. Stream every lecture and course offered in the Prager store. Pragertopia Plus members can submit questions for my monthly online Ask Me Anything. Yes, you can ask me anything. We also just added a live chat feature for the Pragertopia community. Chat with me, Alan, and Sean during the show. Great life discussions without restricted topics. Get everything from the show, including lectures, courses, and films as a Pragertopia Plus member. Go to Pragertopia.com and get 20 of the top happiness hours from 2023 for free. That's Pragertopia.com.
Welcome back to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970. The Answer.
Okay, we're back. I'm joined by Jimmy Kunz, the truffleist, and Jason Hairston, owner of the Nugget Spot in Chatham, New Jersey. They have a great collab going on right now because truffles and nuggies are all the rage. And before the break, we were just diving into kind of how they linked up, how they know each other, where this friendship started. So, guys, let's talk about it. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, who wants to take the torch here?
So, I think we met at one of these. Was it a pop-up? Probably between. I think Steve and Jay made the intro, but
Correct.
then we figured
Like
out
a holiday pop-up?
Or it was an urban space. It was what do you call Madison Square, right?
Oh, Madison Square Eats,
Yeah,
which
Madison
no
Square.
longer
Oh,
exists. But we
yeah.
had a mutual friend, Mayhem. They're still in Chelsea Market. Shout out to those guys.
Yep.
Connected us, and then we connected another dot, which
Yeah,
was
we went to the same school together.
Oh.
Well, actually, our sisters were in the same grade. I'm much older.
Okay.
You want to hear a funny story about
Sure.
that? Not to pause you, Jason. So when we first met, and then we connected, and shout out to Eunice, which is the United Nations International School, 23rd and FDR. So our sisters were in the same grade together. And then we got intro through industry friends, right? So we're chilling, we're hanging, we're vibing, and we put the two and two together, and then I thought Jason was younger than his sister. So that kind of started it off right. He was like,
Wow.
brother,
Yeah.
are you serious? And I was
Give me
like,
a hug.
yes. And he's like, I'm not going to tell my sister
Yeah,
that.
don't tell the
I said,
sister
I'm
that.
absolutely going to tell my sister that.
Now we're going to tell both sisters to listen in to the answer and hear it for the first time. But yeah, it's just grown from there. It is, I think, so important to have great industry friends.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, just we're venting, we're helping each other out.
Yeah, it's really like a unique thing to be an entrepreneur, you know, especially in the food space.
Right.
And to have somebody who can relate to it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's no other business that requires so much like expertise on so many different topics.
Yeah.
You know, as food, it's wild. Like
You know what
knowing
it is?
how to
Because there's
cook
the
isn't-
customer service aspect to it too, which is, it may be the most important part, but you have to wear so many hats when you're operating a food or beverage concept. Like you have to have the books right? You have to do the business part
the accounting
right.
is
You have
huge.
to do
Real
the
estate
people
is
part right.
huge. Maintenance is huge.
Yeah.
Like the food part doesn't really come in
Until you're open.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's probably like number 3 or 4 on the list of
Exactly.
most important things. So like
I always say
accounting-
people need to work in a restaurant at least once in their lives.
Oh, I've said
I mean,
that.
there's no other job like it.
Yeah. But owning and operating takes that to a whole other level. Like you're responsible for so much more.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So that's good. You guys have each other to kind of lean on and collab with.
Right. He
Right.
told me to take the 10K SB course, which was
Also
the
great.
Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business course. So we give each other little bits of
Yeah, you
wisdom
inspire
here
each
and
other.
there. And it's just this collab is so cool. We started the companies at the same time, and to still be around is great and growing. And I'm super happy that Jason reopened in New Jersey, and that we're doing this cool truffle nugget collab.
Right.
And he makes a truffle mayo, which is on the menu all the time, and we're trying to get him to do truffle fries full time or a truffle nugget. So that going
Please
into the
do.
collab
Yeah.
on just like a little bit briefly, the point of this one is obviously personal, right? Mm-hmm. One of your closest friends reopens this amazing nugget concept in New Jersey. Let's keep things fresh. Let's help with marketing. Let's make a big push. But in terms of like the food service industry on the truffleist side, this is a perfect example of how a collab is done right. This is the dream for the truffleist, to be clear.
You're part
where
of
it's
the
not
dream, Jason.
Right, it's not just one menu item, it's almost like a menu takeover because there's 4, but the point of it is to five. Thank you for correcting me. But the point is to expose the end customer, and then the business owner, does the end customer want this truffle item? And then the business owner realizes this, and then it becomes a full-time item.
Yeah.
Of course, he already had been using our truffle sauce and this truffle mayo, but so we're selling to a lot of restaurants now, and everything from people.
Can you mention which ones?
Sure. Going back to Smorgasburg, Home Frite, really nice French fry concept. They have a storefront. They're one of our legacy accounts. Last week I was at another one in Astoria, Sanford's on Broadway. Really cool. They do a truffle burger. Really nice beef. They mix in the truffle sauce. And
into the burger?
Correct. And it's turned into their best-selling burger.
That's great.
I mean,
We might realize with this data, the collab, that actually truffle nugget might be on the podium of top 3 best-selling nugget all year. Who knows? Right. So the exposure is huge. Keeping things relevant, but since we're gearing most of our sales efforts and our time allocation to selling to restaurants, this is a perfect way to start the year. Jason's leading by example. Even if it's just for this month, it's a great example of what value putting a truffle item on your menu really does.
Yeah.
People want it. You can charge more. Your margins are great on it. And everyone's happy.
That's the name of the game.
Hopefully. If you like truffle.
So I want to dive a little bit more into truffles specifically, because there's always a lot of interest around truffles. When I say truffles, like even Johnny Damon, I just had him on the show last week, and I mentioned I'm doing a show next week about truffles. He's like, I love truffles. So that's one of those buzzwords, on a menu. You see something with truffles. I know I'm like that. I'm like, I need to get that. Like, I love anything with truffles. So have you ever been truffle hunting before? Can we talk about how truffles are harvested?
Sure. I have been.
Where?
Tuscany. This was 2-3 years ago. I also did in Oregon, because they have there's actually domestic truffles. They have a little truffle festival over there. There's another one in Napa. Haven't done that.
Fun.
But they're an interesting little mushroom. The only one that grows underground, and Australia has truffles.
Yeah.
Spain has great truffles. Obviously, France, Italy too. And domestic, they're okay.
They're not as pungent.
They're just not as good. I feel. It's just not right.
Can't put your finger on it. It's just not the same. Where are you getting your truffles from?
I mean, the dream would be to have an amazing truffle farm in California or
Obviously.
something. But California, Tuscany. Jason, what are you going to say?
I'm going to say Tuscany.
Yeah, Tuscany all day, every day.
I second that.
Everything's better in Europe.
But Napa is pretty cool, and that whole area is cool. We mainly get summer truffles from northern Italy. We either direct import ourselves, or we deal with local suppliers. It really depends on the item that we're making, how we're processing, the time of year. And just like anything, right? Yield, weather. This is quote unquote cultivated now, but they're still so dependent on weather and so it's tough supply and demand. Of course, before New Year is more expensive. Like last week was a good week to buy truffles. Next week,
they jack up the price for celebrations? Is that
correct. For Valentine's Day. So a lot of supply and demand, just like any other commodity, right?
Right.
What's happening? What's Mother Earth doing? What time of year it is? And actually the best time to buy truffles is actually right after the New Year's.
So do you stock up?
Yes. Some suppliers may have overstocked. Anyway, it is just very interesting. Then for the flagship truffle butter, those are black winter truffles that we usually get from Spain, actually, or France. And we tend to buy trimmings, which is like the peelings of still fresh. And it's been an interesting journey to figure out, like, from where we started and where we are now, how to navigate that, right? Because I can't say month one, right? We're in February, the flagship truffle butter is $50 a jar, and then next month it's $65. So I need to...
So you're selling things at market price?
No, I wish I could when it comes for the jarred stuff, because we don't really sell fresh truffle much, right?
Right.
We're mainly selling truffle oil as one of our best sellers. Truffle honey is on the podium. Truffle salt. So we're processing these truffles, cooking it, dehydrating it, blending it, infusing it, that sort of thing. So I have to be very careful at what pound price, because I can't tell Whole Foods, like, the honey one month is $12 a jar and next month it's $15. So that is a variable cost.
That makes a stressful job even more stressful.
That's all right.
Should get you a pig.
We should get me a dog, really.
A truffle dog.
I thought the pigs are what sniff them out.
Mainly dogs in today's world, but
the pig is cooler.
I agree.
I have a question for Jason about the nuggies again. Do you have any plant-based nuggets? Because plant-based is very trendy
Absolutely.
right
We got
now.
something for everybody. We got gluten-free stuff.
Gluten-free?
Plant-based, yeah. And I'm working on another, like the Captain Crunch nugget baked. I didn't realize Captain Crunch was gluten-free, but...
I would not think Captain Crunch is gluten-free at all.
Yeah, it's oat.
Interesting.
I believe.
So are you doing any other kind of, like, cereal-coated nugget?
Cereal, no.
I feel like a Special K would work well.
Well, people are, cornflakes. People do cornflakes all the time.
Yeah.
But we have pretzel, Cheez-It, yellow corn tortilla, bacon, coconut.
Coconut?
The truffle nuggets with
You
breadcrumb.
really are,
Yeah.
like,
We got all
an
kinds.
innovator
Right.
in the nuggets.
Yeah, the
nugget
catering
scene.
menu, all of those items are available for the catering menu. In store, we rotate them for specials to keep people coming back.
You got 7 coatings right now?
7 coatings, 8. Because we get the regular one too. So,
What about the sauces? I mean, we talked about the truffle mayo, right? We talked about that. What are some of the other sauces? I would imagine
we
like
have
a barbecue.
Pickle aioli that I think is very cool. Barbecue, golden barbecue, honey mustard, hot sauce, sweet chili.
This is great. We're bringing you to Rutherford for sure. You got to come to town.
I would love to.
And then those gnocchi guys are gonna cry when they hear you took their spot, and
sure
then I gave it to you.
They're gonna be like, our margins are better anyway.
That's great. Anything else you want us to know about the Truffleist?
Yeah. Eat more truffles. I don't know. There's got to be a campaign behind that. Just shout out to everyone who supported us locally in New York City at these holiday markets.
You're like a low-key celeb. I don't know if you know that.
No, not at all.
Truffles.
Yeah, everyone knows Jimmy Truffles.
We're just happy to continue to stick to our guns and provide high-end truffle products with great base ingredients, and still buying our honey from the farmer's market, and still being meticulous about our sourcing. And we're just excited to keep the brand going and growing. And I'm still excited to be eating and cooking. And the whole point of this is to, like, let's have dinner and have fun. So the end goal is really you have to remind yourself sometimes in the thick of day to day that, like, people are really enjoying this stuff.
Yes.
And they're going home and, like, they're with their families or friends and enjoying this, and that's what it's all about. So thanks to all the support over the years, and thanks to Jason. Every account matters, and every person buying our stuff does. So again, kudos to the Nugget Spot for being also a legacy food service account for us.
Love it. Thank you for listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on AM 970 The Answer. And big thanks to Jimmy Kunz, the truffleist, and Jason Hairston, owner of the Nugget Spot. Check out Jimmy's line of truffle products at truffleist.com or stop by one of the holiday markets next year in New York and try the truffle cheesesteak that he's so famous for. Tune in next week for a show all about Southern cooking. I'll be joined by cookbook author Jor Morgan. She's going to dazzle us with all of her recipes. She's even sent me a bunch of cookbooks that I can't wait to dive into. That's the show. Thanks for listening and have a great night.